Hey everyone, welcome to my quick review of Annie Murphy-Paul's book, The Extended Mind, which I created as part of the second cohort of the Visual Thinking Workshop. Our story begins here. Over the last 100 years, IQ levels globally have increased significantly, up to by 30 IQ points. However, some research suggests that this upward trajectory is leveling off over the last 10-20 years. And the question is, how can we continue to grow? We need to solve extremely complex problems such as climate change or such as the AI revolution. How can we become more intelligent? And Annie Murphy-Paul's argument in the book is that it is the stuff outside our heads that make us smart. And this includes embodied cognition, meaning gestures and movements. It includes situated cognition, which includes our environment where we sit. And it includes distributed cognition, which means the people that we talk to, the people that we meet, and that we interact with. And the image that Annie starts her book with is the image of a nest-building bird, like a magpie, who builds her nest from whatever parts that she's able to find. So similarly, our brain uses other people, the physical spaces we are in, our feelings, movements of our bodies, to combine all of these into thoughts. And thinking outside our head means that we skillfully engage these entities outside our heads and we draw them in to our thinking process. I'm going to cover 3 points in this summary. First of all, that our brains are context sensitive. Second, that we are social creatures. And finally, third, we are going to talk about habits that you can adopt to improve your thinking. So what does it mean that our brain is context sensitive? Well, it means a couple of things. First of all, it is useful to re-embody information. For example, it is well known about Einstein that he liked to run thought experiments where he was the light beam traveling at the speed of light, imagining what is happening around him. And this embodiment of the thought, him being the light beam, created a new perspective that helped him understand the physical reality better. One good approach that you can do is to enact concepts. Try to stand up and move around, make the concepts spatial, and that way you can understand them better. Seek to bring your entire body into the thinking process. So for example, also attend to the gestures of other people and use that to understand the concepts better. And finally, also listen to your own body. Listen to your feelings, listen to your heartbeat, listen to your hands being sweaty, listen to your interoceptive signals to better understand the decisions that you want to make. Second, spatialize information. The memory palace, or the method of Loki, is a memory technique used by memory champions, and it involves imagining a location that you know very well, maybe your own school, your home, your office, and walking through that virtual space in your mind and attaching each of the elements you want to remember to a certain location along that journey. And by this, when you mentally rehearse walking through this area and you remember that, yes, I left this card at the stairs, I left that card with the receptionist, etc., you will be able to recall information much better. Second, we all create mental maps. Actually, this is the basic method of our brain using our spatial capabilities to create maps of conceptual items. This is, for example, reflected in our language because we reach for a lofty goal, we look at the future that lies ahead of us, we think of the past behind us, and so on. So we conceptualize ideas and abstract concepts in a spatial manner. And you can help this process by creating mind maps, concept maps, or any other diagrams, or even charts and tables. This will all help you get a better understanding of information and will help you externalize that information. And finally, we should aim to socialize information. In a social context, we are going to be thinking differently. So one way to socialize information is to debate the information with others, or to seek synchronicity and cooperation with others. Synchronicity means that you are on the same wavelength. So for example, here you can see a group of people eating lunch together, and you can see the pepper in the bottom right corner, just very small, that represents that eating spicy food together and feeling the heat together will increase the level of synchronicity. That's why, for example, doing karaoke or going on a hike together is also very useful, because our bodies will move together and that improves synchronicity. Another approach you can use to socialize information is to teach others. And of course, the age-old approach of telling stories is a key tool in this. And all of these methods help us create a context where we are able to be more creative and more intelligent. Second, we are social creatures, and this has a number of consequences that you should pay attention to. So first of all, try to embed extensions into our everyday environment. For example, place a family photo or some other cues of identity on your desk, because that is going to create an environment for your brain where your brain feels at home and will be in the context of work or whatever you want to do at that table. Add green indoor plants, because that is going to restore our attention. We have naturally evolved to live outdoors. Our ancestors lived on the savanna, and our minds are restored by seeing the green environment. It's just much easier for our minds to process this type of information. And if you have green plants in your environment, that is going to help you be more relaxed and to recharge faster. Build transactive memory systems. This sounds very fancy. This means that a group of people together will remember more than individuals alone, because you will not remember the information specifically. I'm not going to know the name of the system or the person I need to talk to or the title of the website, but I know which colleague or which friend I should ask, and I know that I'm going to get that information. And this sort of interdependence between people in a group is what's called a transactive memory system. And finally, aim for stability. We are much more creative, we are much more productive in a stable environment. So even if you're working in an office where there are hot desks, try to pick the same hot desk every day, because that stability is going to improve your level of performance. Second, create situations that trigger the desired type of thinking. So for example, teach others and explain, and through that you're going to learn yourself. Create informal spaces in offices where people can chit chat, and it might look like it's just meaningless chit chat, but research has shown that the corporate processes, the best practices are shared much better through social chit chat than through formal trainings. And finally, aim to share a meal, hike as a group, do karaoke, be together with the team, and that is going to create an environment for collaborative work where you're going to be in sync with the team. And finally, recognize that we are loopy creatures. This means that our thinking is not like we take an idea and we think about it and we have an output, but we take an idea, we put it on paper, we put it on the wall, we share it with others, we play with the idea, and then we look at what we've played with, and that will then influence our thinking. So look for ways to loop your ideas outside your mind with others. And approaches for that are to create spatial loops by, for example, using post-its or a whiteboard and placing the information on a wall, or by talking to other people. So looping with other people helps share ideas. And loop with your own feelings. So sense your feelings, label them, and reappraise your feelings. And that is going to help get you into a different mindset and help you interpret this information better. If you're not skilled at listening to your own feelings, then there are a couple of approaches that you can take to improve. So for example, keeping an interceptive journal can help in this, but also doing a body scan meditation can help when you meditate and you just simply reflect on the feelings that you feel in your body. And finally, what are some habits to adopt based on all of this information? So first of all, the habit of offloading and externalizing is important. You can offload to templates, because if you fill out a template, then you lose the cognitive burden of thinking about the format and you can focus your attention on the content. You can offload to a whiteboard, which will have the additional benefit of having an external perspective called the detachment gain, because you can observe your ideas as if they were external. Try to gesture as much as possible. There are actually two types of gestures. There are the symbolic gestures, when your gesture represents an idea, and there are just simply the beat gestures that give your talk a bit of a rhythm. Practice continuous offloading to a diary. The approach recommended by Annie in her book is to create a decision log. Write down the decision that you need to make, list the different options, and then listen to your body and reflect on how you feel by each of these and write those feelings down. And then after the decision, or after you see the outcome of the decision that you finally made, go back to your notes and check how your feelings correlated to the outcome, so you can learn from listening to your feelings in your next decision. And finally, practice social offloading, which can be debate, but it can also be the transactive memory system, or it can be collaboration with others. Aim to transform information and abstract thoughts into tangible items that you can touch and feel, move around and look at. This is going to significantly help your cognition and understanding. Finally, deliberately alter your own state before doing mental labor. So the thing here with the box is there was an experiment where researchers asked people to sit inside the box, and they asked other people to sit next to a box, and then they gave them a problem and people had to come up with creative ideas. Those people who were sitting outside the box were able to come up with 20% more creative ideas than those people who were sitting inside the box. Second, go and eat some spicy food with your colleagues. This experience is going to significantly increase your synchronicity and it will help you collaborate better. Third, get up and move. Actors remember their lines because they're able to attach what they're saying to movements that they're doing. The same way, if you get up and move, that is going to help your memory, but it's also going to help you explain concepts better to others. And finally, use physical exercise to alter your mental state. There are two things to pay attention here. First, when you're doing light exercise, that is going to increase your level of alertness. It's going to improve your memory capabilities. But then second, if you're doing very intense exercise, that is going to move your brain to another state. It's going to be a more dreamlike state, and you're going to have a different type of thought. You're not going to be able to think in logical detail because you will not have the brain capacity for that, but you're going to see the big picture, and that is going to help come up with creative solutions. So in summary, it is the stuff outside our heads that makes us smart, and by being deliberate about using embodied cognition, situated cognition, and distributed cognition, you can achieve much better results. You can become, as a group, together with others, but also yourself, more intelligent, more productive, more creative. So that is my brief summary of the book. We talked about the brain being context sensitive. Then we explored the idea of us being social creatures. And finally, we looked at a couple of habits that are worth to adopt. The book is very rich. It's filled with lots and lots and lots of examples. Here I made a deliberate choice to only give you a very high-level walkthrough of the key concepts that I took away from the book. If you're interested in this topic, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Annie Murphy-Paul's book, The Extended Mind. You will not regret it. It's a good book, well written, very interesting, very detailed. Also, if you would like, registrations are now open for the third cohort of the Visual Thinking Workshop. If you register before 5th of March, you will get the early bird price, which is $100 off the full price. And cohort 3 will start on the 25th of March. Thank you.